Hello and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. I've got one thing to share with you, which came to my mind when I was sharing something about women's getting the right to vote. And I used two books as possible starting points to know more about that, how that came about and happened. One dealt with the United States, the other one dealt with England. And the one that dealt with England, there was a reference in there to Elizabeth Blackwell and women becoming doctors. And that set my mind to thinking, because about a year ago I read a biography about her. The first woman doctor. It's by Rachel Baker. Her sister also became, a younger sister became a doctor as well. They did many things to open doors for future women being able to be doctors. Now, that was a big thing. Now, when Elizabeth was born, she's born in 1821, and that was 12 years after Caroline May was born. Now, you may remember Caroline May was the person whose family was well off. She didn't have to work out anywhere. So what does she do? And she ended up painting flowers and hiking over all kinds of terrain and going, and really quite an amazing career she cut out for herself. But that hadn't changed in a few years when Elizabeth reached 20. What am I going to do? Now, she thought about different things, and none of them were things that really felt that was her calling. She did respond to an advertisement for a teacher at a woman's girls' school in western Kentucky. And she travels there from Philadelphia. Wait a minute now. Let me just go back a bit. She was born in England. The situation in England had its ups and downs. I'll just read you one little paragraph from this book. There had been a great deal of dissatisfaction among the working men because their hours were long, their wages were poor, and also because, not being property owners, they could not vote. So this is the men. As a result, they could not elect men who might pass the laws to make their conditions better. They wanted parliamentary reform and went about signing petitions at first, listening to inflammatory speeches, and then finally, by starting fires and rioting, they tried to force the Tories to grant them the privileges they wanted. Well, her father and family, their business is probably more easily served if they were living in the United States. So they moved to the United States and near Philadelphia. And so she travels from Philadelphia down to Kentucky, finds a school is just a physical wreck, just mud in the floors, the windows broken, and she fixes it all up. The girls come, but they have no interest in learning anything that she might wish to share with them. So she works out her contract, comes back to Philadelphia, and her parents have moved not far, and she finds that the new neighbors, Dr. Stowe and his wife, Harriet Beecher Stowe, are friendly and supportive, and she decides, Elizabeth decides, she'd like to become a doctor. Well, there's no school that accepts women, medical school program, pre-med or anything that accepts women into their program at that time. It was all for men. So she has to get herself approved, and she works hard at it and convinces finally one school to accept her as the only female in their program. And also, she wins over the fellow students and staff and graduates. But there's still lots of doors barred to her, and what she does and what she accomplishes, mind-boggling, and the hours and the effort that she puts into helping others. There's a great quote in here. I have studied enough to know how little I know. Such a humble statement. And Dr. Stowe said to her, when women have cured prejudice, they will have cured the worst of all diseases. And near the end of the book, she makes an interesting statement. I kept little notes when I was reading it a year ago, page numbers and a little something about each of them. And before I spoke to you here, I looked back through, and the book is really a neat book. Again, the title, The First Woman Doctor by Rachel Baker. It's not altogether easy to get it right now. But when it was first published back in 1944, I think it was, a scholastic book. It was like in a book clubs you could get this, or school libraries might get a copy. My wife remembers reading it when she was in grade school. So anyway, she says, children, she wrote, must be well-born, well-nourished, well-educated. How could such a notion be thought bad? She could hardly understand. Well, if you're going to have a democracy and a civil society, the birth experience, well-born isn't referring to your parents are rich or something. It's referring to that whole birth experience is one where people are supportive, where people are encouraging, and you are able to go away feeling good about that experience. And nutrition, well fed, goes without saying, and well educated should go without saying, though there's certainly debates as to what one should be educated, but I think we still have a ways to go. but I'm hopeful. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.